we saw Inside Out 2.
We did.
First, let's talk non-spoilers, and then we'll do spoilers. If you haven't seen Inside Out 2 and don't want to be spoiled, make sure you check the time codes in the description.
Okay.
So, without spoilers, what is the story of Inside Out 2?
Without spoilers?
Yeah, without spoilers.
Riley hits the puberty age.
13.
And she gets new emotions that are introduced into headquarters.
Yep.
With the original emotions. And she goes away to camp.
Yep, a hockey camp.
Well, I didn't know if that was too much.
I think it's okay to say it's a hockey camp.
She goes away to a hockey camp and has to figure out how her old life and her new life are going to work together going forward.
Yeah, how she manages her relationships with her current friends and then meeting new
high school friends.
So, yeah. What did you think? What were your thoughts?
I thought it was really good. There were a couple times where I was like, who is this movie for?
Sure, I get that.
Because, so we have an almost 13-year-old. Mm-hmm. We also have an almost 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's very interesting to me that this is going to hold little kids' attention because it's so heavily story.
Yeah.
And like mature themes. Mm-hmm. Not like super mature, but mature-ish.
Yeah.
But she loved it, and she was entertained.
The 5-year-old.
Yeah, she was entertained the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think Lily liked it.
Yeah.
We haven't really, discussed a lot of it. And then, as a mom, I really liked it for different reasons. And someone who has mental health.
Yeah, I think we'll talk more about that in spoilers.
Yeah, so, I am someone that I have an anxiety diagnosis among some specific things when it comes to anxiety, and so having anxiety as a character introduced, a lot of it was I don't know, so but
I think it's anytime they do a sequel to a Pixar movie, you always get nervous because they're so good at doing original stories. Is this movie just going to feel like a cash grab? Like
Toy Story 4?
Yeah, I mean, I don't 100% agree with that because I will defend Toy Story 4.
I know a lot of people like it. I don't love it,
but I would say Toy Story 4 and the upcoming Toy Story 5
and Monsters University.
Yeah,
I didn't
need Finding Dory.
No,
but I would say Inside Out 2 isn't like that.
No.
I feel like it's a genuinely great story that adds to the first one.
Honestly, I don't even think you'd need to see the first one to see the second one.
No, I don't. I don't either.
Understand everything and know what's going on. And,
but it doesn't tarnish the first one's legacy.
Oh no, it's just a different stage of life.
Yeah, I genuinely think of when they talk about movies that are what's one that's better than the original or just as good as the original. You could say Inside Out 2.
I don't know that's better than the original. I would say just as good. For me, it's not better. Yeah. But for you, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying hard. It's hard to not talk spoilers.
We can just go into that section if you'd like.
Let's just jump into spoilers. Okay. One thing that I loved about it is that anxiety is I would say it's the antagonist of the movie, but she never feels like the villain because she they gave her a great motivation and how she is trying to keep Riley safe. And you can understand where she's coming from. And she, as we learned in the first Inside Out, all emotions are valid. All emotions have a place in development, and anxiety is one of them. And the message of the movie, what I was concerned about was is the message of this movie going to be, we need to stop anxiety? Or is it, and I'm glad it's not, because it is more of we need to manage anxiety.
Yes, because you can't stop emotions.
Yeah.
If you could, I would have. Years ago, I would have done anything to. So, yeah. The part that got me and made me cry, and I will talk with my therapist about, was the part where they were our job as emotions aren't to control who she is. She has to be who she is, and we're just here.
Yeah.
we don't run her life.
Yeah.
So when anxiety creates the panic attack,
Yeah.
where she's like spinning around the desk and she can't be stopped and she's like frozen and Joy like has to go intervene, like that was good.
Yeah. And that's Joy's kind of arc throughout the movie is learning that she can't control who Riley is.
And Riley can't always be happy.
Yeah.
Another that line,
I was just gonna bring that up.
where so there's like a part in it, it's like it's the what do you call it in the movie
the all is lost is in screenwriting terms.
So the characters are off trying to collect like Riley's personality, like her core values,
her sense of self,
that anxiety threw away. And when Joy feels like there's nothing they can do, and she has this like moment where she's like, maybe part of growing up is just like not having joy anymore. And it's just like, oh
yeah, it's like maybe when you get older you have less joy.
Just so much tears. And then like her realizing that that's not the case. It's just when you do get older, there's so many more things that you understand and that you aren't as happy as you were when you were like 5.
Yeah. So yeah, do you think, as a person who has to manage anxiety and has like read books and books and books on anxiety and, the steps you have taken to manage yours, do you feel like this hits differently than like, I don't know, an average person?
Well, did you cry?
Did I cry? I cried more at the first one than this one.
Because that's about depression.
Well, yeah, maybe.
The first one is about depression. So for me, it hit me so much when they all came together and they hugged Riley. Yeah. Like as much as they could ever touch or get close to Riley, it was like that pedestal where her sense of self was. And when all the emotions came and they hugged her, it was just like this like moment of like, we love you and we're here for you.
Yeah.
Like that really got me. And I think it's because a lot of my anxiety really is that character. It's like planning ahead, what could go wrong, thinking about the worst case scenario.
All the worst case scenarios.
So that you can like control it and stop it. And so seeing her like that, like her like knowing that like little anxiety was just trying to help, but she just got too out of control. That was like, that's it. Like, it's so interesting. So a really good book my therapist had us get and read to Charlie, who shows some signs of anxiety, because I think my anxiety is something that has come generationally. It's like, it is in me. I'm sure my cousins and family all have it. It just manifests differently in people. And the book is like about the amygdala and like making the amygdala a character and like talking to it. And so seeing it in Inside Out as like a character, I just think will help so many kids and like parents. Yeah. And like for Inside Out, the first Inside Out, I think that was really good at describing like depression and like that you just get to a point where all of your emotions, they don't know what to do. Yeah. So it's kind of like that again. And I think it was really good. And I'm sure for people who have mental health issues, I hate saying mental health issues, just people who maybe have dysregulation more, neurodivergence, things like that. I think it's just a good visual for people, for kids to be able to see, because there's probably kids like, in preschool, Charlie had little kids who have neurodivergent or like different things. Yeah. And it's like, it helps them see and like put together like, oh, their brain's doing something. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the film does a great job of like explaining what anxiety is, and in the sense that it's just like it's planning for all possible outcomes, and like trying to plan for the future in any possible scenario, and it shows how that can be a good thing and a bad thing. Like there's a part in the film where Joy gets Riley into trouble. It's early in the film, but like it's anxiety who is able to like put her on the right path to like, you do need to worry and plan a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just when, the anxiety gets a little out of control that it becomes an issue.
Right. And I think that's a nice thing about the growing up aspect of Riley in this too, is that Joy just always wants to take over, and like showing that there are times when you have to be like serious or be, not on Goofball Island.
Yeah.
Oh, and then when Family Island, so the islands, they're such a big part of
Riley's personality.
And in this one, Family Island is like dark and so tiny next to Friend Island, and it's like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I remember that,
13.
and like we see that with Lily.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just like, and then when Riley's mom just like is like, "Hi, good morning," and Riley just like, "Don't talk to me," and it's just like, luckily we have that more with her than we do with Lily, but
more with our 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Okay. So, would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend this movie because, well, like I said, there were a couple parts where I was watching it where I was like, I don't know if like the colors are there and the characters are there, and like Charlie's been watching Inside Out for like 3 weeks, like every day. So she's really attached to the characters. But I don't know if like it was the first time her being introduced to it, if she would have liked it as much.
Sure.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'll put it this way. Like, she never got out of her seat.
No.
And she, a lot of movies, she will try to get up and she'll try and walk around a little bit, or she'll like hop between seats, or like she needs to sit on people's laps.
Maybe it's because we didn't give her Oreos this time, though.
Oh, yeah. There's also that. We didn't let her get
normally she gets the little bag of Oreos. Yeah. So
there's also that. Now, she was flipping and flopping in her seat a little bit. Like, there'd be times when I'd see she'd flipped and her feet were up in the air.
Yeah.
And I know she was snuggling with Lily in parts.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think if you are someone who has seen the first one, definitely see it. I think if you haven't seen the first one, but like, you just want like a feel good movie, see it. I think if you have like preteens, really see it.
Yeah.
And if you have mental health issues, especially like anxiety issues, you should definitely see it.
Okay, so I'm introducing our new movie scale for whenever we do these reviews.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 categories. I want you to put it in one of these categories. You ready? Okay. This will probably change. I don't know if we'll stick to this, but as of now, this is what our movie rating scale is.
Okay.
Is it a see it in the theater? Is it a wait for streaming? Or is it a not for me?
I think it's a see it in the theater.
I would agree. It's a see it in the theater.
Because I think a lot of that, too, is so our worst nightmare happened and we had to sit by people at the theater because it was super packed.
Yeah.
And the people I was sitting next to, I think it was parents and an older daughter. And before the movie, they were like talking about really heavy stuff going on in our community. And I was just like, okay, this is like...
Oh, I didn't hear any of that.
Oh, well, I did. And I was just like, okay, this is like real heavy conversation for like read the room where we are.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I heard like the older daughter say like, I feel really seen right now. Like, I feel like I need to go, like, have a minute. Yeah. And it was just kind of like... Yeah, I don't know.
I'd agree. See it in the theater.
Yeah, it was good.
Here's your hosts, Bo and Allie.
It's so off the cuff, I haven't even planned anything.
That's okay. Can you tell it's 9:30 at night? Look at us.
Yeah, we're very tired. So, we are recording this. We are fresh from the movie theater.
And you're shouting in the...
Well, I'm
kids in bed.
I know. I'm just so excited.
I know.
I'm so amped because we just saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Mm-hmm. I think.
So if you haven't, don't watch this.
Well, I think let's start with like we'll do non-spoilers and then give our thoughts, and then we can jump into spoilers. So for the people who haven't seen it or don't know anything about it, can you tell the people the plot of Deadpool and Wolverine without spoilers?
Blood and swearing.
I feel like there's more to it than that.
Blood and swearing and ego.
Okay. It is rated R. It is for mature audiences. We did not Let Lily see it. She's 12. She loves Marvel movies, but she will not see this one.
She will not see this one.
But yeah, so basically the story, what's in the trailers is Deadpool is having sort of like a midlife crisis, and the TVA shows up and needs his help with something. The TVA, they're from the Loki series. They kind of the ones that are in charge of controlling the sacred timeline and the multiverse and things like that.
And he is feeling like he wants to be a hero and kind of like make his legacy, and people are like, but you're Deadpool, so
yeah. And he needs Wolverine's help. He teams up with Wolverine finally. Something that they've been teasing since the very first Deadpool movie. And I think that's all we can say. So what are your thoughts? Did you enjoy it?
I mean, yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like, overall, yes. It was a lot. It was so much. It was just like, it was like getting punched in the face for like 2 hours.
And at first you like it.
Well, at first you're like, okay, so they're just like setting the stage to let everyone know what this movie is. So like if you've brought your child or if you've turned it on Disney Plus, can you imagine this being on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
If you've turned on Disney Plus and like this is what this movie is, so like get them out of the room. But in fact, it never stops from that. So like,
now, you've seen the first two Deadpool films. You liked the first two Deadpool films.
Yeah, and I really liked, like, I love Wolverine and Deadpool's banter and their relationship. I love the very quick jokes, and, like, it's so witty, and Ryan Reynolds is just, like, this, I mean, like, could you imagine it being anyone else?
Sure. I feel like he's crafted his personality to be Deadpool.
Yeah. Like
he lives his life as Deadpool now.
It's so good. But my God, it's just like, there's so many ways to hurt someone. And like, it's just a lot.
It's very graphic.
It's so much blood and heads cutting off and people getting stabbed in the butt. Like, so much.
That is very accurate. There's a lot of people getting stabbed in the butt.
It's just a lot of butt stabbing. And then jokes about it. So
that should be on the poster.
Yeah. It's a lot.
If anyone's on the fence about whether or not they should see it, there's a lot of butt stabbing.
I will say one of my favorite lines that I will probably carry into real life is an educated wish.
Yeah.
That was
a lot. Yeah, I don't think it's a spoiler for this joke, but a recurring theme is that a lie is just an educated wish.
Yeah. And I feel like that is like something a toddler said to him or something.
Yeah. That was very fun.
It's very good. So yeah.
Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down. 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up.
I feel like I don't have thumbs anymore after watching it.
That's
I don't
fair.
know. What do you think?
How about who would you recommend this to?
You.
Just me personally? You're not wrong. I am the target demographic for this.
I don't know.
I would say it's the ideal person is somebody who is really adept with comic books and the
X-Men and like Marvel.
the lore and the behind the scenes drama that goes into making these films.
Yes.
I
I think if you're someone who really loves or doesn't mind violence and gore, you gotta be able to hear a lot of swearing.
Yeah.
You basically become numb to it.
True.
Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I did like it. It's just, it was so much. It was just so much.
I would say this one is the most inaccessible Deadpool movie to new fans. Like, I'd say the first two Deadpool movies, I think you can walk in and not knowing much about the X-Men and, like, get it.
Yeah.
But I think this one, you really need to know about, like, the Marvel movies and the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of just, like, Disney buying Fox and things like that.
And a lot of those jokes were great. And I cannot believe that Disney was like, yep.
Yeah.
This can be a Disney movie.
Yeah. But okay, I think we can go into spoilers now.
Okay.
Okay. So what did you think of the opening sequence to Bye 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 as a huge NSYNC fan?
I loved it. Obviously, it was funny. There were a lot of parts I had to like close my eyes and hide because I think what they did was they were very smart, and I knew I was like, oh
Gosh.
at parts where like there was snow, so it could emphasize the blood.
Yeah.
In the minivan, it was all like ivory and tan, and it was like I knew from like that like movie making part of like, oh, this is gonna be gross.
That minivan fight was one of my favorite scenes.
The minivan fight was very entertaining. But I don't know. I loved. Okay, my favorite parts were Elektra, because freaking I love her.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner.
The little dig she makes.
And the dig. Well, she didn't make.
Yeah.
They asked where Daredevil went, and
Deadpool's like, oh, I'm sorry, Daredevil's dead.
And she was just like,
yeah, it's okay.
Which that's our movie.
I know.
Like our first date was how many years ago?
2003. So we're
Jesus. That's
over 20 years. Yeah.
That's 21 years.
Yeah.
Our relationship can drink.
That's true.
21 years ago, we went and saw Daredevil.
As our first date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's sad that
they have split up in real
but
life.
we didn't.
No, we lasted longer than Daredevil and Elektra.
Yeah. So that was fun. I really wanted Taylor Swift to be in it.
Yeah, Swifties.
I really wanted her to be in it. I would have wooed. I was ready to woo. I loved the ending that they beat science.
And they
by hugging or not hugging, but holding hands.
Yeah,
I love.
That's a similar ending to the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I love their relationship. I loved Chris Evans coming into it.
As Johnny Storm.
I don't know what the hell they said.
So fun fact for him. So the previous Sean Levy directed it. He also directed Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
I like that.
If you recall, there is a Chris Evans cameo in that movie.
I don't remember.
It's at the very end. It's where Ryan Reynolds' character gets the Captain America shield, and they play the Captain America music, and then it cuts to Chris Evans' character, and he's like watching it, and he's like, "What the hell?"
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So that was fun. Yeah. What were your favorite parts?
Just like a lot of the in jokes that if you know, you know. So like one, going back to Bye Bye Bye, what makes that extra funny is in X-Men 2, there's a part where Wolverine and some of the other younger X-Men, they steal Cyclops' car and they turn on the radio and it's Bye 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 and they're like, so that's fun.
It's rude.
There's a part where Deadpool realizes he gets to join the Marvel universe, so he walks away to tell Fox to suck it. Suck it, I'm going to Disneyland or whatever he says.
That was very funny. That's what I can't believe Disney kept in. There were so many references to Disney and Fox that I could not believe it. But yeah, when he skipped away, told Fox off, and then...
Yeah, all the fighting was great. I know he said it was gratuitous, but it is
so
the best
much
action. And but that's the norm with the Deadpool
they
movies.
Must have
the
been
actions
so
are
tired.
Great. They were probably very tired. Here's the joke that I think I'm shocked stayed in. So there's one of the cameos is Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Was that really Blade?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the joke? Is this what the joke?
Probably. Go ahead.
They're like riding up to like a big fight, and he was like, "There's only been one Blade Runner."
There's only been one Blade.
One Blade.
And there always will be.
And there always will be. And then...
And Deadpool looks at the camera.
Yeah.
So...
I didn't get that joke.
Many years ago, I want to say it was...
What's Blade Runner?
Blade Runner is just a different sci-fi movie.
Okay,
it's not important.
Sorry.
But Blade, the Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Gosh, it was maybe 5 years ago at a Comic-Con, I think, or some D23 or something. I think it was a Comic-Con. Marvel announced that they were going to make a Blade movie, a new Blade. Mahershala Ali. Do you know Mahershala Ali? Okay. You'd know him if you saw him.
Okay.
But he had just won an Oscar for Moonlight, and they bring him out, and we're like, this is our new Blade. We're going to make a new Blade movie. And just like over the course of the last 5 years, there have been delay after delay, losing directors, losing writers. Just like it's been mayhem.
Well, if it was 5 years ago, it was like right before
the
vid.
Yeah. So that's what that joke is. But yeah, that's the one that like I was shocked that
stayed in.
that Kevin Feige let them keep it.
So when Daredevil looked at the camera, what
Deadpool.
Sorry, what? I didn't do that. Sorry. When Deadpool looked at the camera, was it like a nod to the people? Like we went there? Or
Yeah,
was it
basically.
like, okay.
Yeah. So can I tell you about Channing Tatum? Do you understand what that's about?
No.
Okay.
And like I said, I told you in the car, I didn't know that was Channing Tatum for like too long.
Yeah. So for 10 years, maybe, Channing Tatum has been trying to get a Gambit movie made. He's wanted to play Gambit.
And that's him?
Yeah, he played Gambit. Gambit
I don't know Gambit.
He's an X-Men character.
Okay. This was a new character to me.
Sure.
Was he in the X-Men movies?
He has a small part in X-Men Origins Wolverine, your favorite X-Men movie.
Is it played by Channing Tatum?
No, it's played by an actor named Taylor Kitsch, who was very big at the time but hasn't done anything really since then. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Channing Tatum has been like champion a Gambit movie, and it's been in various forms of production
like
over
Blade.
the years. Yeah. Okay. And then just it never happened. So that's what the jokes was like when he's like, everybody wants to see me. Deadpool was like, do they, or do you really want to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But one of the best jokes to me came out of the Gambit character when Deadpool says, who's your dialect coach? The Minions?
Yeah,
I can't understand a word you're saying.
That was so funny. That I did laugh really hard. The theater, I feel like really liked that. Because he was doing like
it's a Cajun accent.
And he was very good at it.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad because it's like, I don't want to make fun of people with thick Cajun accents.
Yeah.
But like, he was very good. And I did not know what he was saying.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was funny.
So, little fun facts here. So, we know Kevin Feige runs Marvel Studios.
Uh-huh. And we like him.
We do like Kevin Feige. One of his very early roles in producing, he was an associate producer on the very first X-Men movie. So, like, important enough to be important, but not that important. An associate producer can mean a lot of things.
Kind of like Happy when he's saying he's part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's your talent? You can parallel park. That's really good too. Like the whole movie was just like really good. Sorry, back to the point. But
fun fact about Jon Favreau, also in Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But he wasn't Happy then.
No, he played Foggy Nelson, Daredevil's friend.
Right.
Okay.
Who is played by
one of the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Eldon Henson.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got really lost. We got to go back to the...
What am I talking about? Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
So...
executive producer.
Associate producer
on the first X-Men.
Yeah. And he would sneak Hugh Jackman comic books.
Because he didn't know what...
No, because I think Hugh Jackman wanted to like know more about Wolverine, but the director of the first X-Men movie was like dead set on no comic books on set. I don't want to see a comic book.
Why?
Because the year 2000 was a different time.
But you would need it to know.
But they're not making cartoons, they're making real drama that just happens to have superpowers. That's why like the X-Men costumes for so long weren't like the colorful like yellow costume. Yeah, they were the black leather. Yeah, when he pulled the mask down.
That looked good.
Yeah. Well, we've been trying to get that mask for 24 years.
Did you gasp?
Well, I knew it was coming. It had been leaked.
But still seeing it.
It was nice to see. It was nice to see, finally.
Okay, so keep going. So you would sneak him comics.
That's the end.
Oh, I thought so. One of the things in the credits was they did a lot. I loved all those behind the scenes of like little baby Hugh Jackman and Forever the Third Wheel in the left triangle.
James Marsden,
and like. That was so fun to see. Baby Chris Evans. That was a nice throwback.
Yeah.
Magneto's sister. I didn't know of her.
Xavier's sister. That sounds like Magneto.
Yeah,
that's
Xavier's sister.
Who you in our previous episode you referred to as not Magneto Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's in the comics. She's new to the universe.
Okay. The freaking.
Oh yeah,
no,
her effect.
I hated that.
Yeah, so her effect of sticking fingers in people's heads. That was a good effect, though.
There was so many times I was like this. I was like
hiding your face,
looking at you.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And like the fight during Bye Bye Bye, like I wanted to watch it because I knew he was like dancing.
Yeah.
But he was literally taking a metal skeleton, like
Logan's metal skeleton,
bit by bit, and like killing all the people with it.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
I'm happy Daphne Keane, who was in the first Logan, she came back. She's been working pretty steadily since
Is
then.
that his daughter?
Yeah. Yeah, a daughter.
They used his genes.
So,
to
yeah,
make her?
she's like, I think she is a clone. I think they cloned his DNA but used it as like a donor. So he had like a mother. So technically it's a daughter.
Yeah.
I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
But then, and she was there at the end, right? She was at the party at the very end. Yeah. So she is like in the universe.
They didn't die.
But yeah, I don't know. I had a good time. I would recommend it for people like me. Probably not a lot of the Disney fans who listen to this podcast.
I don't know. We've been doing a lot more movie reviews. We probably don't have a lot of...
Yeah, we'll do more park. I think we have more park stuff coming up.
And I feel so bad for like the 15-year-old Swifties who got tickets. This is not for them.
Nobody promised that she was going to be in it.
It's just so much.
Yeah, and Percy Jackson's not in it.
Yeah.
But there were so many rumors. Like, Ben Affleck was rumored to be in it. Eric Bana was rumored to be in it.
Eric Bana?
So he was one of the Hulks. He was the Hulk with Jennifer Connelly.
He was a good Hulk. I liked him.
Yeah.
Wait, his name's Eric Bana?
Yeah, and he played Bruce Banner.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. He's in Big Fish, right?
No, that's Billy Crudup. Sorry. You know the weirdest one?
What?
You know who plays Wong?
Yeah.
His name is Benedict Wong.
Well,
and you know who plays Doctor Strange?
Benedict
Cumberbatch. Cumberbatch. Couple of Benedicts. But yeah. 2 thumbs up to this guy. I would say it's not my favorite Deadpool movie, but I did.
Really?
Yeah, I think Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are better like
story.
Movies.
You mean because there's a frickin' story to them? This story was...
Ooh, that does remind me.
How much blood can we... blah, blah, blah.
That does remind me. I was fairly upset that Deadpool and Vanessa had broken up. I know it's kind of like the motivation for his like actions in this movie is to be the kind of person who could get her back.
Yeah, but he like brought her back to life, right?
Yeah.
So shouldn't, like, you think...
She should cut him some slack.
Like a little bit.
Yeah. He traveled through time to save her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having just rewatched Deadpool 2 and like that whole story and him after he like loses her and he's fighting so hard to get to her in heaven and then he can't and then he has to travel through time to save her. Deadpool 2 is great. This one's a lot of fun.
Because you're a romantic.
I am a romantic.
And you like
everybody
romantic
knows
stories.
that. Everybody knows I love a romance.
Yeah, there wasn't... The romance was him and his dog. His gross little dog.
It's a bromance in this one.
Yeah.
It's the bromance between Deadpool and Wolverine. It's right there in the title. So yeah. Good time?
Yes, it was a good time. I don't think I ever have to watch it again. I would watch like YouTube bits of parts of it. Like if they took the movie and they cut out all the like intense fighting, I would watch the 3 minute. You could make that
Instagram reel.
I'd watch the 3 minute video. Yeah.
Here's your hosts, Bo and Abby.
This past week, Universal released Wicked Part 1, a blockbuster musical film adaptation of a Broadway show that is loosely inspired by a book that was inspired by a classic film from 1939, which was an adaptation of a book from 1900, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. With a reported budget of $145 million, it's looking like it'll make $165 million just in the opening weekend. Currently, it has 89% on the tomato meter and 97% on the popcorn meter. So I think we'll do spoilers and then non-spoilers.
Okay.
Without
so
spoiling.
No spoilers first.
No spoilers.
Okay.
What is the story of Wicked? What's the plot? What's it about?
What makes it a spoiler? to me, the plot was a spoiler because I didn't know it. And like, okay, so Wicked is the story of Shiz University, where there are, I don't know, are they people? Are they a mix of like witches and wizards and munchkins? And
I got the vibe that they were just like people learning.
Okay.
It's like a college, but they also teach wizardry stuff. So it's not like Hogwarts.
See, that's right. To me, it was like Hogwarts.
Yeah.
But we weren't clear on like houses and what everyone's like major was.
So here's the difference for me when watching it. When I was like, this is how Shiz is different from Hogwarts.
Okay.
Like at Hogwarts, you're not learning any math. At Hogwarts,
right?
You're only.
That's not true. I bet.
No, you only take potions and like stuff like that.
Potions,
but they don't teach. They're not teaching there's no like algebra.
Okay.
Whereas like Shiz, they have history. You learn things.
Okay, so it's the story of Shiz University where people.
Well, it's a story of Elphaba.
Well, I didn't know what. I don't know what is a spoiler or not. The story is about Elphaba and Galinda.
Yeah.
Galinda and Elphaba, and how they are very different people, and they are frenemies, and things happen at Shiz University. They meet friends. There's lots of dancing and singing. And it's a lot of like messages on loneliness and bullying and not caring what other people think. And then something happens and then they go to meet the wizard and we end in Oz.
Okay. And in the Emerald City.
Shoot, yes. I keep missing that.
Yeah. It's all
of Oz includes the Munchkins and Shiz and Emerald City, but in my head, I just keep thinking
the Emerald City
is Oz.
Yeah.
Probably because the Wizard of Oz, and it's like the whole time they're just thinking about
being off to see the wizard.
Yeah. Also, I love there was so many cute little Easter eggs from Wizard of Oz.
You want a fun fact about Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
That was the first time you had ever seen a graphic tee. So in the Watch It Brush Up Company, they have a T-shirt that says Oz on it. In the 30s, there was no like T-shirts that said things.
Oh.
So like the first time there was a graphic tee was in the Wizard of Oz.
I don't even remember that though.
It's in the Watch It Brush Up.
Okay. Yeah.
So going into the film,
yeah.
What were your expectations?
Very low. I was actually kind of annoyed at the quantity of Wicked that has been thrown at me.
The marketing of it?
Yeah, like we had talked about in our last episode.
Go anywhere without seeing it?
It was like Target was like full of Wicked, and you go to Starbucks and it was Wicked cups and Wicked drinks and like every commercial, and I don't even watch commercials, but like on YouTube it was just like so much Wicked.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah.
And like I'm going to go see it because, you know, it's pop culture. Mm-hmm. You like it whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go like see it.
Yeah. Okay. We're still in non-spoilers.
Okay.
Did you enjoy the film?
I loved the film.
I also enjoyed it quite a bit. Yes, I liked it a lot.
I liked it very, very much.
Yeah, if the stars align, I would like to go see it again.
Agreed. So we took PTO from our jobs, and we went Friday during the day when our children were at school. We were the only people for almost...
Yeah, right up until the movie started.
There was another couple that came in, and it's like we knowingly gave each other, like... They were a bit older than us.
Yeah.
By like 30 years.
Yeah, they probably didn't take the day off.
No.
They probably
but they were like... They were pumped, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Recommend doing that.
Going during the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a long film. Did you feel the runtime ever?
No. I was actually surprised that it ended.
Yeah.
I kind of felt... So I didn't know anything about the movie, but I kind of figured it felt finale-ish.
We were
We were at the last song that was sang. Mm-hmm. It makes sense, I think. I don't know anything about what's to come. Yeah. I've, like, made guesses, but I was, like... That was one of the reasons I was nervous about going, because it's, like... That is... too long.
Yeah.
But it paced so well.
Yeah, it moves.
There was not one time where I was like, wow, like, okay, we're still here.
Yeah, it never feels like we could hurry this along.
No, like there was one point I had to go to the bathroom and, you know, not knowing, I was just like, okay, I'm going to go. And by the time I came back, which again, there's no people, so I went quickly. they were already into like the next big thing.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow.
Yeah.
It just moved really fast, I thought. What did you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it moved along. I knew when I went to the bathroom, I knew I wanted to be there for Popular.
Same. But that's what I asked you when I came back. I was like, did I miss Popular?
Yeah, and then I knew Defying Gravity where it comes in the play, so I assumed it was going to come where it comes.
Is that like
in the
intermission?
movie. Yeah.
At the play? Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I know I'll have time to go to the bathroom and not miss Defying Gravity.
So that was the spoiler I didn't know if that was a spoiler or not.
Yeah.
But
it is tough because it is a play that's, 25 years old.
I know. But like we didn't know anything.
Sure.
Well, I guess you did if you knew that was.
I know enough.
I mean, I could sing parts of Defying Gravity and parts of Popular.
Yeah.
Because Glee told me.
So yeah, how do you feel about like the performances?
I thought they were very, very good.
Do you feel like anyone was a standout or
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah.
I think she'll get an Oscar.
You think she'll win the Oscar?
Deservedly. I don't know her. I don't know what she's done. I don't know anything about her. But the whole time I was watching her, I was like, I don't even think she's acting. Like, she just was Elphaba. And, like, she was so good. Just, like, her facial expressions and, like, all of it was, like, she was just so good.
Yeah. I first knew she was good from this movie, Bad Times at the El Royale. You watched that with me.
I've seen that. What? She's her?
Yeah.
No! Her? Who sings in the room?
Yeah.
What? Oh my god! I loved her in this.
Well, there you go.
Holy
Gosh.
Sorry. This movie was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that was her. Obviously. She was very good in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that just even further proves that, like, yeah, I thought she was really, really good.
So as we get closer to Oscar season, the studio's campaigning for Cynthia Erivo to be Best Lead and Ariana Grande for Best Supporting. How do you feel about that?
I would agree.
I would disagree. I think they should both be Best Lead. This is a two-hander.
Yes.
This is equally, I think there's just as much...
But then one of them has to lose.
Alphabet. Well, yes,
and that's
I
why they're
understand.
not doing
And
it. They want them both
correct.
to win.
You are correct.
Because you don't want to pit them against each other.
You are correct.
So,
but I think
okay.
I feel like this is just as much of Galinda's story.
It is.
Like, I would say it's, if you made me choose, I would say it's Elphaba.
Yeah.
But like
it is also her.
It is.
Well,
they are co-leads in this.
And why Elphaba is so good is because she has Galinda to bounce off of.
Yeah.
And they're very drastic contrast.
It's very different performances because
Yeah.
Galinda gets to be the more comic relief.
Yeah.
She gets to do a lot of silly things.
She's an idiot, and I love her.
Yeah,
she's the worst.
You can definitely.
She's the worst, but you love her for it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You can see Ariana Grande's Nickelodeon background coming out in some of those wackier
there was
moments.
So many times where, what was the show she was on? Cat and...
Sam and Cat?
Yeah. It was like, oh, she's... That life prepared her for this role very much.
Yeah.
But like, she wasn't obnoxiously Nickelodeon. She was like perfect.
Yeah.
Like the perfect amount of awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I feel like we can jump into spoilers.
Hold on, though. I didn't get to talk about Jonathan Bailey.
Okay, go ahead and talk about Jonathan Bailey.
Okay, I also thought Jonathan Bailey was amazing, especially as a newly obsessed Bridgerton fan. Who he is in Bridgerton is like a 180 of who he is in Wicked. But I think who he is in Wicked is more like who he is in real life, because everybody's always talking about how he's like hilarious and like the loudest, and he's always dancing and singing and like doing jokes. Mm-hmm. But I thought his like performance, even like out like his dancing and singing, I didn't know he could do any of that, but that's like his background.
Okay.
Like a theater boy. I thought he did very good. And just his Fiyero persona, like very cocky, full of himself, I just thought he did a very good job.
Yeah. So I found out that he goes by Jonathan Bailey, and you always refer to him as Johnny Bailey. Is that because you guys are friends?
Yeah, it's because that's what Nicola Coughlan always calls him, is Johnny Bailey. And obviously, since I'm Nicola Coughlan's like best friend, we're probably cousins.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's jump to spoilers. What surprised you most about the film?
How good it was.
You were not expecting it to be so good?
Okay, what surprised me most is it was a, like, freaking political... We had, like, racism and fascism and, like, censorship, it feels like. Like, it was so politically driven.
What's essentially, like, the equivalent of banning bucks. And,
yeah. It's like 2024 in Oz.
Yeah,
we are Oz.
A lot of people, a lot of the discourse on, like, threads is, like, people, I didn't know about the animal cruelty. And it's like, it's not about animal cruelty. If you think it's about animal cruelty, you are, and it's not even, and it's not even like a subtle message.
No.
Like, you should be able to get what they're talking about.
Yeah. No, it was so, I did not know that it was that.
Yeah.
I did not know.
I knew once they started getting, I didn't know that either going into it. And that once I got into it, I was like, ooh, Abby's going to get real fired up about this.
And I did. And I think that's why I cried so much.
Yeah. You cried at least twice.
I cried twice. I laughed a couple times out loud. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we probably should have always known it was about, because she's green.
Yeah.
And, like, green usually represents, because no person is green, so it can represent any race other than...
Well, like, I never thought about it, like, watching The Wizard of Oz, that, like, oh, she's green and no one else is green. Because it's this world that has, like, 10 men and scarecrows and, and, like, talking animals. So, like, I never thought it would be, like, if you lived in that world, you would think someone who's green is weird.
I agree.
So, like, I never thought that it would be part of it. Here's a question that I always thought was in the film, because there's a lot of times in the films, you know, you'd get like Harry Potter vibes or getting some X-Men vibes. Mm-hmm. One of which I got a lot was when Elphaba is learning to control her abilities. Mm-hmm. It is very Frozen for me. Mm-hmm. It's very Elsa. So do you think when they were making Frozen and they were like, you know, we're making this character Elsa, she seems a lot like Elphaba. Do you think we should just get Elphaba to do this? And that's why they got Idina Menzel to be Elsa?
Ooh. I never thought about that. That does make a lot of sense, though. But also, I mean, Idina Menzel's voice is like...
Yeah.
But she was the perfect Elsa. I've
Agreed.
not seen her as Elphaba. I mean, I assume.
I've seen clips.
I assume since, you know, she is who she is, that she's the perfect Elphaba for the stage show. Mm-hmm. But now when I ask our robot to play Defying Gravity, I specifically make sure it's the movie and not the Broadway, because I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot believe she was in that movie.
Bad Times at the El Royale. It's a good movie.
Also, but I guess, to be fair, like, she was green.
That's true.
And they changed her. And when I've seen her, you know, in her interviews, she doesn't have hair and has lots of piercings. So she just looks very different than who that person was. Yeah. Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
But wow.
Now that you've had a few days to have it sit and simmer, is there anything that, like, has stayed with you? Any parts that have stuck with you?
Yes. Literally, I cannot... yesterday, as I was making Thanksgiving dinner before anybody came over, I put on Defying Gravity. And the first 2 lines... Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I literally, even now, it like makes me tear up. And this is going to get political. But like that is literally how I have felt and feel since the election. Like I'm going to cry right now.
You're fine.
I just feel like that point in the movie of like, it was just really hard for her. And then the wizard and everybody turned on her. And her only friend was like, you just got to go, like, you just have to go along with it, like, to save yourself. Like, you just have to. And she was just like, I'm not going to. And, like, her standing up and just being like, I can't. And it was so, like, it was just, like, so powerful. And, like, the way they did it in the movie, and they were just alone. And you could tell they were both so scared and, like, they didn't know what to do. But she just knew she was not, like, she had just come too far and been through too much. And she knew right from wrong. And, like, that was her story, like, throughout the story was that she's just, like, I wish I didn't care. Like, I wish I could just let it go. I wish I didn't have to care about what was happening with the animals, but like I can't, and I'm not going to. And so even like yesterday when the song just started, it was just like, oh my God, like it's like the perfect time. It's
the perfect movie for the moment.
It is. It really is. And like, I don't know. So yeah, that scene of them at the end, it just keeps sitting with me of like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, what the future holds, but you just have to do what's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's the hard thing and nobody else is on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a part 1. Do you feel like it's a complete film? Do you feel shortchanged?
No.
It feels like a full movie.
It feels
because like some movies, like I know the most recent Fast and the Furious movie got dinged a lot because it felt like the movie just ended.
No, I think it ended in a perfect way, but it left me wanting more.
Yeah.
Like it ended, I didn't feel like it was like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Or like...
It doesn't feel incomplete.
No, it left you just like gut punched.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so now what? And like, that's what's hard is like knowing Wizard of Oz, like the ending, but like you had said that you hope that there's some twist and turns.
That was my fan theory, which I could easily just Google.
Yeah, but let's not. Let's live in this place because we'll never get this back.
Yeah.
And this is what I always love. It's like when you're outside of something so popular and like we get to experience it for the first time without like knowing anything, like not a lot of people get to do that.
Yeah.
So
to wrap up our review, should people run out and see it now? Should they wait for streaming?
All of the above. I'm hoping we get to go again.
You can't see it now and wait for streaming.
Well, I think you should see it now.
See it in the theater.
Well, and here's the thing. We got to experience it in a basically empty theater. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of stories about people singing and like doing the thing.
Well, they already announced they're doing sing-along versions.
I would love to go to a sing-along version just to like let the people sing and like let the people have their moment of like, you know. But I would say go see it in the theater, and then when it streams, definitely. But I think I could see me being more emotional in a full theater of people during it, and like that sense of community. Because I'm guessing the kinds of people that are going to go see Wicked are the kinds of people that are going to be on the side of Elphaba. And like,
I'm interested to see how many people go into it not knowing it's a musical. They didn't market it as a musical, and they didn't market it as part 1.
Yeah, but don't you think? I mean,
you'd think.
Honestly, after what happened 3.5 weeks ago and the things that I've heard since, you're right. Probably people don't even know.
All right. Well, before we close out the review, I just want to go over some of the people who reportedly either auditioned or at least publicly stated they were interested, and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with Elphaba.
Okay.
Okay. You've got Lady Gaga.
No.
Okay. You've got Lea Michele.
No. Sorry, Leah, but no. Oh my God. I mean, of course she did. But no. Sorry.
And then
Sorry, that was really rude. I have nothing against Lea Michele at all. But no.
Okay.
No, thank you.
And then you've got Kristen Milotti, who I know I have to explain to you who that is. So she, you'd probably know her best for as she was in Palm Springs with Andy Samberg, that time loop movie. That's really good.
Okay.
She's also the mother on How I Met Your Mother. She's in she's the new Penguin show that's really good.
I've never heard her sing or anything, but no.
Glinda, you've got Amanda Seyfried, who you were just watching that video of her singing Popular.
I don't think so.
From Mamma Mia.
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing against her, but she has Mamma Mia.
She doesn't need more musicals?
Yeah, let somebody else have a chance.
Okay. And then we've talked about this one, Dove Cameron.
I do love Dove Cameron.
From Descendants.
I think she's been through a lot lately.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think she's a great singer. I think she's adorable. I think she would have been really good.
Yeah. And, she's got the I'm assuming she's got the Kristen Chenoweth stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Because they've worked together on Descendants and Hairspray.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande was also in that Hairspray. I didn't know that.
I will say, I was really not looking forward to Ariana Grande in this role. I have nothing against her.
You've got something against her.
Listen, here's the thing. And I don't know these people in real life. I do not like infidelity. And she is part of a scandal recently, and that left a bad taste in my mouth. But I do think she did a good job.
All right, Fiyero, we've got Shawn Mendes.
No.
And we have both Nick and Joe Jonas.
No. Johnny Bailey was perfect.
Okay.
He was so good. Do you agree? You know nothing. You're not tied to Bridgerton. You have no, like...
I can tell you if I thought he was good.
Okay, yes, I know. I didn't mean, like, you know nothing. I meant, like...
What, Jon Snow? Jon Snow over here?
I'm so excited. I'm tripping over words. I have a bias towards him. He was literally the reason why I wanted to see Wicked, because I felt like I had to support him. You have no tie to him.
Correct.
You might be anti him because of the Bridgerton Association and your annoyance with me.
No feeling.
Okay, so what did you think of him as Fiyero?
He's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. Did you see what he did with the books with his feet?
I think there's a lot of talented dancers.
I don't think Joe Jonas could have done that. No offense, Joe Jonas. Maybe you could. This is not against you because I know you're definitely listening. Okay.
And then on the last one, I know you're gonna love this one. So, Madame Morrible. You familiar? You remember that character?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was spoiler.
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. I thought she was good.
Jennifer Lopez wanted that.
No. Blech. See notes before. I am Team Jennifer Garner for life.
I wish I could go to the alternate universe to watch you see Wicked starring Lea Michele and Shawn Mendes and Jennifer Lopez.
I wouldn't go. Absolutely not. I think it would have been a totally different film.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have been totally different. And I think that's why it's so good, because I do think whoever did the casting should win, because I do feel like the people that they chose were really perfect. Could have other people done it? Yes. Lea Michele could have done it. Dove Cameron could have done it. Any of the Jonas Brothers could have done it, but I feel like who they picked were the right choices.
I would agree.
And here's your hosts, Bo and Abby.
In December of 2020, Disney announced a series of projects for Disney+. Some of these have happened, such as the Baymax series and Zootopia Plus, some of which we've heard nothing about, like the Tiana series, which as of like June, I guess, is still happening. But
Is it?
They said we will see more from Tiana post Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That's what we've heard. That was in June.
But the same people making the show wouldn't be working on the ride.
No, but just like
Tiana's
Adventures, they're still working on something, I guess.
Okay.
But one of these projects that was announced was a series based on everyone's favorite Wayfinder, Moana. Mm-hmm. But, it was nothing but crickets for the longest time. Like, we hadn't heard anything about it in 4 years. That was until Moana 2 was announced in February of this year, just 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Which is an incredibly short window for an animated film to go from announcement to release. Disney CEO Bob Iger wanted to put an emphasis back on theatrical releases and less on churning out Disney Plus content. Mm-hmm. He liked what he saw of the Moana series and decided that it deserved a theatrical run, or at least it could have a theatrical run. Shortly after the announcement, it was announced that Ali Carvalho and The Rock would be returning to voice Moana and Maui. They had not been announced for the show, so presumably they were not involved.
That would have been awful to have Moana without Moana.
Yeah. Lin-Manuel Miranda was not returning. He will be making songs for the upcoming Mufasa film. Instead, we have the duo of Barlow and Bear. Iger's move does seem to be justified, though, because Moana 2 currently sits at 65% on the tomato meter, which is considered fresh, and then 87% on the popcorn meter, that is audience reactions. And it is set to bring in a whopping $300 million worldwide over the holiday weekend. It'll make over $175 million just in the U.S., shattering the current record of $125 million held by Frozen 2 for a Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow.
Yep. As always, we'll do non-spoilers and then spoilers.
Okay.
What were your expectations going into the film?
I was expecting a new obsession, like how I get when I love something, I love it.
Yeah.
That becomes my personality. Like, I go hardcore. So I was expecting, like, we were gonna go to it. I was gonna cry.
Okay.
We were gonna be listening to the music on the way home. I would be, like, looking at Target at all the, like, Moana toys. Because I didn't want to look at the toys and stuff beforehand because I didn't want, like, spoilers. Because I remember we saw one of the new characters.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to know anything. And so I was expecting, you know, like what Disney does, where it's like they make you cry, they make you laugh, you feel good, you know, the things.
Yeah, I think my bar was lower.
See, but like look at reviews and stuff and you know things.
Yeah, but like if it's a movie I know I'm going to go see, I don't look at reviews. I really only look at reviews if like I'm curious but don't have an opinion. So like I'll go to the reviewers that I trust and see what they think. Or if it's a movie that like I know is going to be bad, then I will definitely like I want to see what other people say. But if it's something like Wicked or Moana 2, I knew I was going to go see it. I didn't want any reviews.
Okay.
And also because as a person who is tangentially involved in the media world and like, you know, has worked on films and went to film school, like I am more forgiving of films because it is so hard to get a film made.
Yeah.
That like if your name is on a big screen in the credits of something that has been successfully completed, you should be proud. So like I am more forgiving with my reviews.
You are. That's very kind.
But also like I was a little apprehensive going into this because I knew it was a series that they fairly quickly turned into a film. So like I was concerned about what the quality would be like. And knowing that Lin-Manuel Miranda was such, like his music was such an important hook for that first one and him not returning, like I knew it wasn't going to be the same.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be bad.
Yeah.
I just knew it wasn't going to be the same.
And for me, I was like, it's Moana. It can't be bad.
Sure.
Because Moana, I love Moana. And I loved the first movie. And I learned that having Lin-Manuel write the music is very important. Mm-hmm. And these are all things that I've learned now.
Okay, what is the story of Moana 2? Non-spoilers.
The story of Moana 2 is Moana is now a pretty seasoned wayfinder. You get the impression that she is out in the waters quite a bit.
Yeah, we're 3 years later.
Yeah, we get to see her come home, and she has a little sister. Mm-hmm. And the story goes on to talk about how Moana is searching for other people outside of her island, and she gets a clue that she may have found a lead, and then the ancestors kind of speak to her, and she knows that she has to go on this really intense journey that only one other person has done, and they did not come back successfully. So she gets a crew this time, and they go off and they see if they can break a curse. How did I do?
I think that's the story. That's it.
Yay.
So, what did you think of the film?
I learned a lot about myself in this film, in that a Disney movie can exist and not be the best. And here's what I think went wrong. It may not be Moana. It might be Wicked's fault.
Okay.
So at this point, I had seen Wicked twice. Mm-hmm. And both times, I was fully invested, emotional, happy, excited.
You're chasing that drug. You're chasing that high that Wicked gave you.
I'm just like, oh my God, right? And then I go see Moana. And I had checked my phone, I think 4 times, like checking the time. And I'm like, oh my God, it's only been 30 minutes. Like the movie, the pace of it did not carry like Wicked did. The story for me was a copy paste of the first movie. It's like they took the first movie and they changed bits of it, but it was basically the first movie. We had a lot of characters introduced without a lot of backstory. I think the music was significantly different. I'm not going to say worse, but you can't. I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda is like, you can't touch him.
Sure.
Everything that man writes and touches is gold. It's a bop. It lives in your head.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure these people were very good.
Yeah.
But compared to him, it's like...
It is tough.
Like, the first movie, Maui's You're Welcome.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect... It's quick. It's snappy. It's like so good. If you asked me to sing a single song from Moana 2 right now,
okay. Well,
I couldn't.
I mean, I could sing several, and I do. I love Maui's new song.
Good.
Can I get a chee-hoo?
Good. I'm glad that you do.
Me and the girls have been
I love
jamming to that for days.
And like I said, I'm like a hardened critic. I thought Auli
Coralho is how I've probably been butchering it. But
okay, Auli.
I apologize.
Apologies.
I'm
yeah.
sure you're listening.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought her vocals were so good. I think what she had to work with, she did amazing. I just think they weren't as good as the first.
I would agree.
And like the songs for me, there really until the end. So there was like the beginning I thought had some good stuff. The middle had some good stuff. The last like 15 minutes of the film was probably the best of it. Mm-hmm. And I won't say like why and stuff, but like that was good. But yeah, I was really disappointed compared to what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I will say there's a bit in the middle that reminded me of Strange World, which is a movie you didn't watch, and I don't.
You told me not to.
And it's not a great one, and like that's a movie that came out in the last few years from Disney, and everyone's like, "Is this thing coming out?" They're not really marketing it, and it's because there's a reason they didn't market it. It's because it's not a great one.
I think, like you said, when I was in it and I was watching it, I was like, this is really lazy. Like, I just kept thinking, this is really lazy. They kept doing the same jokes as the first one, like the same hey jokes, the same Pua jokes, the same Maui jokes. Like, it just all felt copy-paste. Yeah. But then after the movie and being reminded that it was a show that they like quickly put together, I think if you look at from that perspective, very impressive. Yeah.
I think what this one will be and it will be very popular now, and I think a lot of it is because people love Moana and Maui, and you love seeing them together, and you love watching them on an adventure. Yes. They are still the fun, lovable characters that you remember and you hold in your heart, and this is just another adventure.
Yes.
And it's good to see them and be with them in this time. I think in years to come, you will not remember this one.
No.
I think it will be a fairly forgettable movie.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be with them now.
Yes. And I would like more stories from them.
Yes. Yeah.
But I need it to be better than this one.
I agree. And what I love about Moana and Maui is compared to other like Disney movies that have come out even recently, I can see Moana having more adventures. Mm-hmm. But if you look at like, I know there's Frozen 2 and Frozen 3, but like if you told me at the end of Frozen 1 that was the end of their story, I would be like, yeah, they've done everything. Mm-hmm. Like Anna to me isn't a person who has more adventures. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at Frozen 1, her story was really like, I want to get married. And she meets Kristoff at the end, and that's that. Or like, you know, Elsa's story was about controlling her powers and unthawing a little bit, and by the end of that movie she had. Yeah. So like I didn't need Frozen 2 or Frozen 3 that's coming. But
I did like Frozen 2, but I didn't need it.
Yeah, but like I could easily see Moana having more adventures, or like you know, a movie that doesn't have a sequel that I would love to see. I could see like Merida having more adventures.
I would love to see what she's up to. But I also think like, okay, comparing it to Frozen 2, so like Let It Go from Frozen.
Yeah.
Is like was a whole like movement.
It's a phenomenon in itself.
Yeah, like how do you even like try again?
Yeah.
after Let It Go. But like there were so many good songs in Frozen 2. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Well,
maybe
it was
don't
the same team that came back.
exactly,
for that,
and like they don't live up to Frozen 1, but like I can't like I still every time I hear, is it Into the Unknown?
Yes.
Where she goes in the cave.
No, that's
Show Yourself.
there. It is.
Every time I hear that, I like, get emotional.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, the Moana 2 did not have that song that
Yeah.
either like makes you want to go kick down a door,
Yeah.
or makes you like want to cry in your pillow. Either one I didn't really have.
Yeah. And another kind of criticism I have into it, this might be spoilers, but I don't let's just say this is the spoilers.
Okay.
All right, we're in spoilers now. So in the middle of the movie, Moana gets kind of like a pep talk from a possibly villainous character.
Yeah.
Teaching her that she needs to learn how to kind of think outside the box.
Yeah.
And take more risks and be more brave, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was hearing that and I was like, does she need to learn that lesson? I feel like she does.
Yeah.
She is a person who thinks outside the box and she does take chances.
Yeah.
Like the song is about like, you need to be less of a person who just follows the path and find a different way. It's like, I feel like she
literally the entire character arc was, I don't want to do what everyone's done. I want to go out and see and like take these secret boats and go like be in the ocean where I'm not allowed.
So yeah, she gets this like pep talk and it helps her at the end of the movie, but I felt like it was a lesson she didn't need to learn.
No, it was a lesson she already had. And that's kind of what I didn't like about it either, is like the whole movie, it's like she reverted. Yeah. And that's why it felt like a copy paste from the first movie. The first movie, it was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I can do this. She felt more confident 4 years ago than she did in this movie. This movie, it was like, she knows she can do everything, but we need to see her feel like she can't.
Yeah. I think that's one of the domino effects of it not being a series, and like maybe things were cut out that would have helped make more sense.
Yeah.
Like maybe we would have learned more about these new characters that made us care about them, because like, I don't know about you, but I had no attachment to any of these new characters they added.
No, and again, and like this is such a weird like hill that I'm dying on. But like, if the whole purpose of her was to go out and see if other people existed, why did her best friend have a New Zealand accent?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
like
where'd that accent come from?
Where did this accent come from?
Maybe it's just an affectation. Maybe she just like puts it on. Maybe it's a fake accent.
But how would she even know to do it if they don't know that other people exist?
It's just a coincidence that it's New Zealand.
That little thing drove me nuts the whole movie. That I'm just like, I don't understand. Unless maybe in the show she came to the island and was like, I'm not from here. There's other people out there. Yeah. Let's go find more people.
Yeah.
Also, as a person that I don't love flashes, I don't love flashing. This movie was so freaking flashy.
I didn't.
So much. The lightning at the end. There was so much of the end I couldn't watch because it was just like so much lightning.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, trigger warning, if you've got a 5-year-old who hates tornadoes at the moment.
Yeah.
There's tornadoes in it.
Like 6 of them.
That was rough for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a post-credit scene, which I'm assuming was to set up season 2 of the show, and so in theory sets up movie 3 of Moana. Is that something you are excited for? No? You'll still go see it? Maybe you'll see it?
I'll go see it, but my bar has been significantly lowered.
Yeah.
Unless they bring back Lin-Manuel.
Well, they might.
And unless they like...
Well, I'm sure it'll depend on like what the Spotify streams are for this soundtrack. And then if they're not high enough, they'll bring him back.
What I've seen on TikTok is like a lot of people are like, "Do you see why it matters?" Like everybody was so, "Oh my God, Lin's everywhere. Lin's everywhere." There's a reason Lin's everywhere. He's really good at what he does. Yeah. And again, like I feel bad for the people who did work on it.
I enjoyed the songs, but they were not as good.
And that would suck to have your legacy be like.
The one that's not as good.
But, and another thing that kind of made me mad, that makes me really defensive about Wish. I loved Wish. I think Wish is a really good movie. I like the story. Yes. I like the characters. I like the music. I like all of it.
I like 95% of Wish.
Sometimes
it gets a little into Shrek territory with their references to the other fairy tales.
Yeah, but I think that's... Anyway, someone posted that they were like, this new Moana is just like Wish, where it's like the music isn't that good, but like it doesn't need to be. And I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think the music from Wish is great.
The music from Wish is
There's
amazing.
a lot of people that were comparing it to AI music, which I don't think is fair.
No.
I think it's incredible.
I think it is incredible, and it moves the story. And like that's something I'm really into right now, is that things exist because it helps move the story. It helps you connect more with the characters. It's not there just to be there.
Yeah.
And I feel like the music in Moana was like, they already had all the story and they needed to fit songs in.
Yeah, it does feel like there are times in Moana 2 where it's like we haven't had a song in 10 minutes. So
let's start singing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that is a really big difference, that like the music doesn't move the story.
Yeah.
And I will defend Wish till forever, that the music in Wish and the performances in Wish are so good. But also the performances, I think, again, in Moana were as good with what they had. The end.
Okay. Last thought. This is my new reaction scale. Because this isn't a review. These are reactions. This is my reaction scale. Would you call Moana 2 a see it, a stream it, or a skip it? Should you go see it in the theaters right now? Should you wait for it to come to Disney Plus? Or should you just skip it entirely?
I think wait for it to come to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't think you should skip it. I mean, every movie I think deserves...
As we
and like you said, a lot of people, like our girls really liked it.
Yeah.
Lily's like mad at me for not liking it, which I get, because I would have been mad at her if she didn't like Wicked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's, and like a thing that keeps being talked about, and like for me, this isn't problematic at all, but people are really defensive about Moana because it's a lot more of their culture and a lot more of the story of the Pacific Islanders. And like, I don't think there's any part of that made me not like it. In fact, at the end, in the spoiler territory, when they bring in the ancestors and they talk about the demigods and all that, like that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say stream it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got back on that tangent. I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Stream it's the way to go.
Yeah. Like, I want to go see Wicked. I wish we could have time to go see Wicked for a third time this weekend.
Well, I think it'll be in theaters for a while.
And like with Moana, I was literally checking the time of like, oh my God, this is like never ending.
And speaking of Wicked in theaters, so it's like a massive weekend for theaters, as we talked about. Mm-hmm. Next year, they'll have the same thing right before Thanksgiving is Wicked 2. Thanksgiving is Zootopia 2. So
son of a gun,
in theory,
again.
It'll be another big weekend next year.
Okay. Well, I already need to like plan 3 showings of Wicked next year. I did our budget. The amount of money we've spent at the movies in 1 week kind of makes me want to throw up. But like, good for movies.
I wouldn't say nervous. I will say, for me personally, I typically enjoy the first acts of plays better than the second act. So I don't know if Wicked 2 will hit me the way Wicked 1 did.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I'm excited to find out, I guess. I hope we're not disappointed.